Coffee and convo, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building. Y'all know what time it is, man. Welcome to the latest installment of let me grab this mug, even though it's the wrong mug, right? Coffee and Convo. I am your host, Graphk Raider, man. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history, man. Make sure you guys wipe them feet, meaning hit them thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button if you are not subscribed yet. A lot to talk about today. Free agency officially opens today, I believe 4 p.m. Eastern time. So we still have a few hours away from actual free agency opening up. You know, these free agents can actually start signing their deals. Christian Wilkins will be officially locked in. It looks as though we're going to be moving on officially from Hunter Renfrow and Jimmy G as that window opens. We will also be officially signing Gardner Minshew. And then I know Jerry Tillery officially be cut. A lot going on today, you guys, so stay tuned. We're going to probably have a few hours today. I mean, not just this show, but some more later on tonight of content, so stay tuned. It's a big day in Raider Nation. A lot of big names still available out there in free agency that fit actual needs, not just talent, but actual needs. And we're going to talk about that here shortly. We're going to go over a list of the best available that fit specific needs, because we all know, right? Free agency, yeah, it's great to go out and make these big splashes, but you want to make sure in free agency you target needs. The draft, if you want to go best player available, do that. But in free agency, you got to pinpoint certain positions, fill those voids, and then go into the draft aggressive and get the best player available. And that is Tom Telesco's MO as the GM in the NFL, 11 years full of experience, man. Let me give some shout outs real quick. Salute to Sand the God, my guy. Salute to Daniel Cap, my dude. Hug D's, my brother. Yes, I want to say also, once a Raider, always a Raider. Salute to Amik for getting a 2-year deal out there in Detroit. They got a good one. Also, salute to Austin Hooper. I believe he signed a 1-year deal, roughly around $4 million with the New England Patriots. So we lost a few players in free agency. It looks as though we weren't really trying to bring them back because those 2 contracts were pretty modest. We could have brought them back, but it is what it is, man. Salute to those guys. Once a Raider, always a Raider. And I want to say this also before we really get to breaking this down. Salute to Hunter Renfrow, homegrown talent. Drafted him out of Clemson. One of the bright spots out of that draft class. 2021 was a hell of a year for him. He definitely showed up, when we were going through a lot of adversity. I just want to say, man, salute to Hunter Renfrow. For real, once a Raider, always a Raider, man. I hope that, wherever he goes moving forward, he shines. And it looks as though, let's just keep it a buck, you guys. Derek Carr can use another receiver. They're moving on from Michael Thomas. This is a clear need for them. I can definitely see Hunter Renfrow going over there and shining once again with Derek Carr. That was one of his favorite targets, in Las Vegas. So it only makes sense. And Jimmy G, man, look, I know a lot of us were like, that was a terrible signing. And it definitely was, especially for the money that we paid him. We paid him starter money. But I got to say this, man, salute to him for coming in, losing the job and still being a great teammate. Great guy off the field, on the field. Just a great, phenomenal teammate. Seems like a very, very good human being. This sounds like there's a huge, I guess a huge market, but there is a market at this point for his services as well. There's not going to be, they're not going to reunite in New England. They just paid Jacoby Brissett, I believe, $8 million to come in for a year. But keep an eye on some of these other QB needy teams. It'd be hilarious if Denver went out. They just missed out on Sam Darnold. He's going to Minnesota. That was one of their targets in free agency. It'd be a shocker to see Denver and Sean Payton go out and get Jimmy G. That'd be hilarious. But it sounds as though there are some teams out there that are looking at him as a potential backup. You know what I mean? So salute to Jimmy G as well. Good luck to him moving forward, man. Yeah, Spivey, we're going to miss Sterling Renfrow. Facts, man. But I mean, it's clear cut. The production has dipped these past few seasons. Josh McDaniels didn't do him any service, by him coming in and the way he operated the offense. It was just time to move forward, man. So hopefully, Hunter did have the case of, the dropsies. He fumbled a little too much from my liking, right? The Arizona Cardinals game, that was terrible, fumbling that football to give Arizona that win. I was actually there in Vegas. It was a terrible, terrible game. But I just think it's a perfect time to move forward for both parties. Hunter gets to go somewhere, start fresh. He's still fairly young, and we get to free up a shit ton of draft capital moving forward to be able to fit some needs. And right now, we just drafted Trey Tucker, you guys, last season out of Cincinnati, 3rd-round pick. He looked really good for us last season. Didn't really get a shit ton of reps, but when he did, he made his presence felt. So I think it's time to give Trey Tucker a lot more reps moving forward. And don't forget, you guys, we could always still go out and find another boundary wide receiver and move Jacoby Myers to the slot where he played predominantly with the New England Patriots. That guy can kick in, kick out. So it's going to get interesting to see what we do with that wide receiver room. But it's a deep wide receiver class. So I'm assuming we will probably grab one in the later rounds to help come in and fill in that wide receiver room with Trey Tucker, with Devontae Adams, and with Jacoby Myers. That's another guy. Easy bread, and I heard a lot about him as well. Javon Baker out of Central Florida, I believe, right? UCF. A lot of talk about him at the combine as well. I actually got an opportunity to watch him run his 40. That is definitely a sneaky name to keep an eye on. Yeah, Graham, that fumble against Minnesota was a deal breaker too. Good luck to him though. Factory James, another guy to keep an eye on. Brendan Rice, the bloodline is there. Jerry Rice's son. Would love to have him come in, man, and help fill that void at receiver. Because what I mean by void is Hunter Renfrow is out of here. DeAndre Carter's a free agent. He's probably out of here. So we can use another wide receiver at this point. No, not yet, Raw. But let's talk about it. There's a few names out there, you guys, moving forward that fits needs. There was a lot of talk about Kendall Fuller, being on our radar. It sounds as though there's some mutual interest there. The corner market really hasn't begun to pick up yet, you guys. I'm assuming today will be the day where you start seeing some of these corners off the market, the likes of Kendall Fullers and the Xavier Howards of the world. But that is definitely a guy that fits a need. And you can take, this is a guy that can play safety for you, Raw. He can play in the nickel if need be. He played not too well there last year with the Commanders, but that defense was just underwhelming altogether. But you can bring in Kendall Fuller, have him be your boundary guy, opposite of Jack Jones, have Nate Hobbs there in the slot, and that becomes one of your strong suits on the defensive side of the football. You know what I mean? So keep an eye on Kendall Fuller. You guys know how I feel about Xavier Howard. I would love to bring him in. The familiarity is there. Patrick Graham was there with him before. But I would love to look at Kendall Fuller if, that is actually an option out here. And there's a lot of talk right now that there is some interest there. You know what I'm saying? Israel, there's another guy out there, Darnay Holmes, 25-year-old corner, played, I believe, his whole career with the New York Giants. Also has some familiarity there. Patrick Graham, former Giants guy. Darnay Holmes was also a former Antonio Pierce guy. I believe he coached him in AAU or some shit like that in his younger days. So there is definitely a connection there. You can probably get him for the cheap. He didn't play a shit ton of reps out there with the Giants, but I would love to bring in a Darnay Holmes to potentially basically take a Meek Robertson's spot. You know what I'm saying? It's a no-brainer for me, and I think he'll come cheap. You're not going to have to pay a lot of money on Darnay Holmes. Let me see. No, not at all, Torque. Not at all. Salute to my brother Hondo, though. No, not right now, Anthony. But there's a lot of talk right now, right? That I don't know if this is Ryan Poles doing, but it sounds as though they're starting to backtrack a little bit here and acting as though, they may keep Justin Fields at the quarterback position. A lot of his teammates are going to bat for him, hoping that they can keep Justin Fields in Chicago. It sounds like they're not completely sold on Caleb Williams at this point. I don't know, man. This can go either way, you guys, but this can be a very, very, I'm telling you now, if Chicago ends up, taking Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 1, or if they trade out, we may be in store for a crazy, crazy draft in those first 3 to 5 picks. That is definitely something to monitor moving forward. I told you guys already that I heard there was some interest there with Justin Fields. This was right before we brought in Gardner Minshew, and then I heard that there may still be some interest in bringing him in as the starter. So stay tuned for that. This may unfold this week. You know what I mean? But it'd be very interesting to see, man, if they end up keeping Justin Fields and moving on from that first round pick and just taking a shitload of draft capital. We may be still in the Jaden Daniels sweepstakes. And I want to tell you guys this pretty cool story, actually, if y'all don't mind, real quick. Salute to my brother, man. My brother L Fingers, I'm saying, one of my best friends in the world. For those who don't know L Fingers, he's one of the most popular producers in the West Coast. This is a guy I grew up with since 3-4 years old. So yesterday he hits me, he says, hey, man, let's chop it up. I got somebody in the studio that I know you would be interested in talking to, right? And I was like, okay, cool. Son, come on. Just throw it in there. I said, okay, man, what you got going on? So he just he calls me. I miss his call. He just sends me a picture, right? Sends me a picture. Him and Jack Jones are in the studio together, okay? So Jack Jones apparently, makes music. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. You know how much of a critic I am of music, right? Like the Darren Wallers of the world and so on and so forth. So they actually send me a record. They sent me a record. I can't play it because I don't want, to make, I don't know what Jack Jones has in store with that record. Let me just say this, man. They made a fire-ass record, man. I did not know that Jack Jones can rap like that's how you rap, football players. That is how you rap. That is how you rap. But we talked a little bit. Just stay tuned, you guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Stay tuned. We may be having some dope things here set up here in the near future. So stay tuned. But it was cool because Fingers told me they were in the studio, and this is the part of the story I wanted to tell you. Everyone knows that AP said he went, put his job on the line to go get Jack Jones. He told Champ Kelly, he told Mark Davis, go get my guy. Go get my guy. You know what I'm saying? I'll hold all the way if this doesn't work out, right? So Fingers is in the studio with Jack Jones yesterday. They're in there working, and Jack gets a FaceTime call. It's Antonio Pierce. And, Jack was, saying, hey, man, coach, I'm in the studio. Antonio Pierce was like, I assumed you were in the studio cooking up. Do your thing. I'm just checking on you. So apparently this is a daily thing that Antonio Pierce does with Jack Jones, checking in with him, making sure he's staying, his mind is focused and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. So I just want to say, man, salute to Antonio Pierce, because everything that he says in public, or, that he's doing, he is actually doing behind closed doors, following up with his players, making sure that they're not getting themselves into some shit that they shouldn't be doing and all that other stuff, man. Salute to Antonio Pierce. And Fingers is a Niners fan, and he even told me, he was like, bro, to hear Antonio Pierce, checking up on his guys like that, it was so dope, man. Like, you know what I mean? So salute to Antonio Pierce, salute to Jack Jones. You guys may see something here in the future. Stay tuned for that. RS, man, appreciate you, brother. Graphk got the plug with everyone. Respect. Hey, man, when you grind and you hustle and you do everything the right way, right? You don't backdoor anybody. You know what I'm saying? You treat everybody with the respect that they, rightfully deserve. Things happen, man. And like I said, I've been in the music business for 20 plus years. So it's, like a lot of those connections with the music thing is it's a lot easier for me than even in the football realm. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, salute to RS. I appreciate you, brother. Man, love you too, brother. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I took yesterday off. It was slow, you guys. I didn't want to just go live for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing happening. We didn't bring anybody in yesterday. And I didn't think that we were. It was a slow day, slow news day. We did nothing. The Raiders did nothing. Tom Telesco took the day off. And what I mean by that is just not signing anybody. He's behind closed doors, working the phones, doing his due diligence on these free agents and so on and so forth. But yesterday, man, it was just an opportunity to spend some time with my kids, go out there, throw the football around with them. I took full advantage of yesterday. Backdoor is not wild, my brother. Look, you are from the areas that I'm from, Wasted. You should understand what a backdoor is. You already know what a backdoor is, right? Stop that. Stop that, Wasted. Don't try and make something that it ain't. Don't try and make this something that it ain't. Wasted talent. You are from the same environment that I'm from. You know what a backdoor is, bro. Stop that. Yes, Bearded Goon. AP loves that kid, keeping him close to get all of his achievements. Factory. Salute the Bearded Goon. Salute the Graphk Cam, my brother in the building also. With the Wilkins signing, I think we should draft a corner and battle it out with Ja'Cory and Bennett. The D-line pressure will definitely make their development much easier. Salute the Graphk Cam. This is facts. This is facts. And Graham, see, come on, man. You know what time it is, bro. You know what time it is, man. You know what time it is, Graham. Supreme talent. Salute to Lou, man. Docs, my son's B-Days today. Louis is 11 years old. Shout out to Louis. Let him know Raider Nation, man, says happy 11th birthday to Louis. My son's turned 11 in July. It's such a blessing. Salute to you, man. Let me see. So there's two names that I'm keeping an eye on, you guys, today. I mean, well, let me just say this. I believe that Eric Armstead is going to be a post-June, cut for the Niners. But I'm gonna be honest, man. If we could somehow, some way, bring in an Eric Armstead to add to that defensive line, a guy that can move all across the defensive line, it makes that D line that much even tougher. I sent a text yesterday, you guys. I don't want to actually, let me see. I said, yo, Eric, it's time. Come home to Vegas, brother. Laugh out loud. Hope all is well with you and the family. Sent a text yesterday waiting on his response. But I would love to bring in Kendall Fuller or Xavier Howard, one of those guys, to be that starter opposite Jack Jones and look at still actually adding more to that defensive line. I would love to bring in an Adam Butler as well, be a lot cheaper. I know that Eric is going to cost probably an arm and a leg, and rightfully so. He is 30 years old. He has dealt with some injuries, you know what I'm saying? But this is a guy that brings you versatility on the defensive line, can kick him outside, keep him inside. You know what I mean? Definitely a name to keep an eye on. I know the Tennessee Titans at this point have some interest in Eric's services. They can actually use another defensive tackle in their room out there to pair with Jeffrey Simmons. But I would love to continue to add to that defensive line. So keep an eye on Eric Armstead. I know he would love to stay on the West Coast. Sacramento brethren. You know what I mean? I don't know if, at this point, he's up there and he spent his whole career with the San Francisco Giants. I'm assuming that he would love to stay on the West Coast closer to family. Let me see. They have not officially cut him, Raider for life. They have not officially cut him yet. I believe they would only save roughly $2 million, $3 million, somewhere around that range. Don't quote me on that if they cut him today. A post-June cut, they save, I think, $18 million or somewhere around that range. So I'm all for it. Tim, I would love it, man. He's been a starter for a long time. He has not dealt with a lot of injuries. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy that has, been a starter. And he's actually on Twitter right now, you guys, putting his bid in. Like, he's wondering why he's not getting too many calls. And one thing that I like about Dalton Reisner at this point is he's saying, I'm not asking for the bag. I just want a starting spot. If you guys go to Twitter right now, he's like, I don't know what what's going on with this. You know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is I want a starting spot. I'm not asking for the bag. I want a starting spot. So if it didn't cost an arm and a leg, and you see where this guard market is right now, Tim Chow, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're probably overpaying Dalton Reisner at this point. But I would love to bring him in on an inexpensive deal if you just said, hey, you got one of the starting spots. I would love it. But this is a deep offensive line class, so I don't know if we're going to want to pay top money for a guard. But definitely keeping an eye on Dalton Risner. If the price tag is right, I would definitely keep an eye on him. Kevin, I've not heard anything about Marshawn Lattimore, brother, at all. Have not heard anything about him. Let me see. You don't need to trade for Devin White at this point, JC. He is a free agent, and I want nothing to do with Devin White. The thing is, a lot of people don't really realize that we usually keep two linebackers on the field at a time. You know what I'm saying? Divine Diablo, and if you look at all the stats, JC, like, I'm gonna be real with you, Divine Diablo has kind of low-key outplayed Devin White as of late. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has one more year left on his deal. Spillane has been a blessing in disguise at the linebacker position. I'm not a big fan of Devin White. I'm gonna be real. I think he's one of the most, overrated linebackers in the game. I'm not saying he's a bad football player. I'm just saying, I think the name weighs more than the actual production. Me personally, I know a lot of people would have liked to take him over Klee. You know what I mean? And salute to Klee. He just signed a deal with the Commanders. Salute to him. Once a Raider, always a Raider. But I would stay away, from him. I would stay away from him. Let me see. The Raiders, we just signed Harrison Bryant. Okay. Let me see what that deal looks like real quick. Salute to everybody here in the building. Let me see what that deal looks like. I'm not against this, man. That means you can go into free agency or go into the draft, not technically needing another tight end. So we have signed tight end Harrison Bryant. He reached an agreement with the Raiders on a 1-year, $3.25 million deal with a max value of $4 million. Great deal. I'm cool with that. I am cool with that. 1-year prove-it deal. Love it. To be that tight end too. Let's get it. Love it. So our guys already making moves. So for those who haven't seen it, you guys, breaking news, our Raiders have went and signed tight end in free agency, Harrison Bryant, who recently played with the Cleveland Browns, 1-year, $3.25 million deal with a max value of $4 million. So there you have it. Love it, man. Tom Telesco making moves early. Let's get it. Yes, I agree, Hug. I agree. And what I sent you in the DM is not off the table yet. So keep an eye on that, Hug. Like, it's not off the table yet. From what I heard, it's not off the table yet. I know that, one of the moves that we made kind of felt like it put a pin in that situation, but it's not quite over yet until it's over. Let me see. Yeah, that's all it is, man, depth. And at this point, you still have Cole Fotheringham on the roster, I believe. We got Zach Gentry on one more. He has one more year, I believe, on his deal. The big body tight end. So we have some talent still there at the tight end position to back up Michael Mayer. Let me see. Let me look up. I want to look up. I got you guys. I know a lot of people are asking about his production at the NFL level. He's still really young, you guys. Young kid out of Florida Atlantic University. Let me see. We're going to look at his stats here real quick. Not a lot of production thus far. You know what I'm saying? He played with Cleveland his whole career. He has not had over 300 yards receiving in a year. He has 10 TDs in totality in his career. So he's found the end zone. But 128 targets in his career, 30 games started. He's played in 65 games, 791 yards completely in totality in the 4 years he's played in Cleveland. So this can be a sneaky move. It's not a needle moving, move. This isn't one of those things that was, we just signed our next tight end in the future. This guy is a definite backup to Michael Mayer. Let me see. Salute to my guy Kenny Mack on the $5 donation. What should we do if Mr. Khalil Mack becomes available? With him being a former All-Pro, outside linebacker, and defensive end, could you imagine the alignments? Damn. Look, bro, if he does, I would love it, because it looks as though the Chargers are going to have to move on from a few of those contracts. And I think that Keenan Allen is safe. I do believe that they would probably value Joey Bosa over Khalil Mack. So they probably keep those two guys because he's a little younger than Khalil. I know Khalil had a massive year last year, and I know Joey has also dealt with some injuries. But I would assume that they would keep Keenan Allen, keep Joey Bosa. They may move on from Khalil Mack, and I think that they're going to move on from their other receiver as well. So look, if this happens, it would be great. It'd be great, but I just don't know if it's going to be a bargain type deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we going to be paying for a 33-year-old Khalil Mack? It's a shit ton of money, man. Now, would that make our defensive line the greatest defensive line in the NFL? By far. You add him with Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree, and Christian Wilkinson, and it's nasty. You know what I'm saying? But keep an eye on the Chargers, Kenny Mack, because we don't know yet. I think Mike Williams is going to be out of there. I think that Keenan Allen is safe. I think they're going to keep Bosa. If they move on from Khalil Mack, shit can get interesting. But there may be a team that comes in last minute that still has a shit ton of draft capital that needs an edge rusher that may trade for him. Who knows? They may take on that crazy deal. I don't know. But if he is cut, I would love to bring in Khalil Mack. Would love it. It just, just got to keep an eye on what you're trying to pay for him. You know what I mean? Look what the Texans paid for Danielle Hunter yesterday, 2-year deal. They paid him a massive, massive deal. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's 30 years old. He's also dealt with some injuries in his career. He had 16 and a half sacks last year. Mr. Khalil Mack himself and Kenny's, how Kenny has said it, had more. I think was it 17 and a half sacks last year or something like that. It's a lot of money, man. But, I know Raider Nation, I know us, you guys, we love that nostalgic feeling. Love to bring a guy home. A guy that was drafted to us. You know what I mean? But it's still a very far-fetched pipe dream at this point. Yeah, I agree, Cap. I agree. And there's still some names. There's still some interesting names on the board, you guys. You know what I mean? Here, let me present this real quick. Salute to PFF. They have a list of guys that's still available at this point, and I'll just put it up on the screen. Let me see. Boom, let me get rid of some of this stuff. Got rid of that. All right. We talked about, our Raiders, you guys, cutting Hunter Renfrow and Jimmy G. We'll save a little bit over $11 million by cutting Garoppolo, and we'll save a little bit over $8 million by cutting Renfrow. So we're saving roughly $20 million today, you guys, which will put us back up to that $40 million range in money to be able to still move around in free agency. So once we move on from Hunter Renfrow, we move on from Jimmy G, it looks as though we'll still have about $40 million, maybe a little over $40 million to play with. But here's a list of guys that will be available. We're not going to need a left tackle, and Tyron Smith at this point is not moving over to right tackle. Kendall Fuller is a name to keep an eye on. I definitely believe that we will take a look at that, look at him in free agency. And like I said before, there's already been a connection there. Hollywood Brown, it's not really a necessity at this point. We have Trey Tucker on the roster. DJ Reader, Cincinnati Bengals are definitely in on his services. I believe Minnesota is in on his services. And I think there was another team that's actually having him come in for a meeting. I forgot who it was. Someone in the chat, if you guys can, if you know, let me know. Someone else is bringing in DJ Reader for a workout. I believe Detroit Lions. That would be insane if you pair DJ Reader up. Oh my God. With some of those guys they have on that defensive line, nasty work. There you go, Clint. Yes, Lions. Salute to you, brother. Yes. But looking at some of these other names, there's some sneaky names on here, man. Cameron Curl, a guy that's played fairly well, for the Commanders at the safety position. Trent Brown, we've already went down that road before. That's not going to happen. The guy's never healthy, and we almost killed the dude. So there's no pairing there. Edge rusher Chase Young, we talked about this already, you guys. I don't think that AP would deal with anyone. I don't care how young you are and how much promise you may have. Sometimes it looks as though he takes plays off and the effort really isn't there. I assume that Antonio Pierce would not take a guy like Chase Young that takes plays off. So I don't even think that there's even a connection there. I think some other team will take a flyer on him and assume that he'll change his ways, and it's not going to happen. Zeitler, that's another name to keep an eye on. Baltimore just moved on from their starting right tackle. They sent Morgan Moses back to the Jets. They restructured their left tackle, and they moved on from another former Raider, Big John. He went to the Jets also. So the Jets just took two guys from the Baltimore Ravens, and they got starters, at guard. and at right tackle with Morgan Moses and John Simpson. So definitely another name to keep an eye on, Zeitler. Stephon Gilmore, another guy that's still playing at a high level. At this point in his career, he wouldn't come in, you guys, and be a corner one. He'd be a corner two. But this is, if Jack Jones continues to develop the way we can see him develop, I'm all for bringing in Gilmore to be that two, that number two next to Jack Jones is that one. Another sneaky name, Steven Nelson. You know what I mean? The Houston Texans are going crazy in free agency right now. You know what I mean? But I can definitely see us maybe taking a look at Steven Nelson, Connor Williams, no need. We just, brought Andre James back at the center position. I know Connor Williams can move up and down, but there's no reason for it. Jadeveon Clowney, edge rusher. It seems like every year at this point he's on a one-year deal. We have Malcolm Kuntz. We have Tyree Wilson, you guys, that will still play some end for us. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be a predominantly defensive tackle. On passing downs, you can push him in a D tackle, but on clear-cut running downs, you still want him as a, potential edge rusher. So I don't see us just completely moving Tyree over to defensive tackle full-time. This is a guy that can move around. So I don't know if we want to add another edge rusher like Jadeveon Clowney, but he'll probably be overpaid once again like he does every year, and he'll probably get a one-year deal somewhere else. I don't see us moving on Jadeveon Clowney when you could potentially bring in another guy in this draft at a cheaper price. Zadarius Smith, Mekhi Becton, another guy that's dealt with a lot of injuries. If he can stay healthy, and that's a major if, that would be a great addition to have him at right tackle. But he has not been able to stay healthy. So there's that. Jonah Williams, he's going to get probably a shit ton of money. I don't want to pay big time money on O-line and free agency. These guys are getting overpaid like crazy. Bobby Wagner, a guy that's coming off of a career year in terms of tackles. He's up there in age, 34 years old, I believe. I think we're okay at the linebacker position. We still have, some young guys behind Divine Diablo and behind Robert Spillane, Luke Masterson, Amari Burney. We got some guys that we can still develop, and we're probably going to go get another linebacker or two in this upcoming draft. So you don't really have to overpay to bring in the likes of a Bobby Wagner, especially at the age. Keep it young at the linebacker position. The linebacker position is the new running back position of the defensive side of the football. Sheldon Rankins, no real need to bring him in. Dalton Risner, we just talked about him, be an interesting guy to come in and be a plug-and-play type dude at guard. He's already saying on Twitter, you guys, he's not asking for a major bag. He just wants to start. So keep an eye on him. Salute to Mando. I honestly think Kuntz gets 13 plus sacks. If he does, he is in for a big, major bag the upcoming offseason afterwards, because he only has 1 year left on his deal. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of deal Kuntz would get if he continues that trajectory upward like he did last season. Big season for him last year, though, man. Let me get these supers in real quick, you guys. Yeah, we talked about the Raiders just signing Harrison Bryant. Salute to DeMarcus. Nation, relax. I'd hate to see how some of y'all budgets look like. Got to be financially responsible moving forward. Salute to my guy DeMarcus on that haymaker. Appreciate you on a $5 donation as well, my brother. Let me see. And yes, Smith already resigned, Cap. I don't know why he's still on this list. He resigned with the Cleveland Browns. Salute to Raider Pace. What position do you think Hondo was talking about in a possible trade? I think it's corner. Me personally, if this is a real thing, if the Raiders are, playing the phone games and trying to see if there's a superstar available out there, I'm assuming it's the cornerback position, and I'm assuming that it is Jair Alexander, a guy that, owned his craft guarding Devontae Adams in practice in Green Bay. A guy that made Devontae Adams even that much better with, probably the number one corner at the time and the number one receiver. It just makes all the sense in the world why it would probably be Jair Alexander. And there was already talks, a month or so ago about Green Bay potentially moving on from that contract. I know he was benched this past season for a game. So there's some tension, it seems like, out there in Green Bay with Jair Alexander. I know he's a highly paid corner. He dealt with some injuries this past season, but I'm assuming, Raider Pace, if I had to be a betting man, I'm assuming if he's talking about someone, it's potentially Jair Alexander at the cornerback position, or it is Brandon Ayuk, Antonio Pierce guy. So And I think that that's still a pipe dream at this point. So, and I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to play fair with us in terms of Snead. So I think it probably would be Jair Alexander, and a dark horse would be Brandon Ayuk. Salute to Forte. Gruden fucked that up. You should never have let Mack leave. He was all about offense, and then our D really went in the shitter. Gruden shopped at Whole Foods for offense and Dollar Store for defense. Great comment, man. I love that. Gruden shopped at Whole Foods for offense and Dollar Store for defense. Salute to you, Forte. I agree with you, brother. I agree with you, man. No way we are trading for Alexander in his contract. I'm just saying if I had to be a betting man, and let's just say what Hondo was saying is true, I'm just throwing it out there. Well, I don't think that we're going to move on Jair Alexander. I'm just saying if it is a big move for a superstar, I'm assuming it would be him. It's not Jalen Ramsey, you guys. He restructured his deal and freed up a shit ton of money for the Miami Dolphins. He's not going anywhere. So there's that. I've seen a lot of people talking about Jalen Ramsey. It's not going to happen. He just restructured and freed up a shit ton of money for the Miami Dolphins. Hug, love you, brother. Salute to all the new members in the chat. Hug, man, you better relax, man. That video you sent me yesterday, you better chill, bro. Salute to my dog, man. My brother, appreciate you. Salute to all the new members in the building. If you guys want to become a member also, hit the link. It's pinned up top. One of the best ways to support the channel, man. Salute to my guy, Raven Riley, man. My boy. Actual Raven fan that's been here since day one. It's so dope that we got other people in the building from other teams, man. Salute to my guy, Raven Riley, man. You guys are making some moves out there, man. Salute to you guys. Can't wait to go out there to Baltimore this year and play you guys. I will be flying into Baltimore. That is one place that I have not been yet in the United States that I want to go to for the seafood. So I will be there this year. If you're out there, Ray, pull up on me, man. Let me see. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. We're almost 2,000 people deep in the building. If you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, just do me a favor, man. Pull up, hit that subscribe button. We're already on our way to 25,000 subscribers, y'all. Like already. We just hit 24K the other day. We are already on our way to 25K. I think we're like around 700 away from 25,000 subscribers, man. So make sure you hit that sub button. It definitely helps what we do over here. You already know what it is. And Clint, you know what's funny, man? I had him as a dark horse. I had him as a dark horse guy that we would bring in to add to our, to add to our wide receiver room. I just, Vegas, OBJ. I know we didn't have a great year with Baltimore by any means last year. I think he only had like over 500 yards in the air. You know what I mean? And I think he had like maybe, 2-3 touchdowns. Don't quote me on that. But that's definitely a name that you can keep an eye on, a big name guy that can come in and still give you some reps at the wide receiver position. If he's looking at over $10 million a season, Clint, in which I know he will be, I'm not looking at that. But if he comes in on a very, very team-friendly deal, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But it has to make sense. You know what I'm saying? The production doesn't match the name anymore. You know what I mean? So, we shall see. Yeah, I did see that New Orleans are potentially trying to move on from Marshawn Lattimore. Come on, man. Hey, Raiders. Why instead of just cutting, just reach out to the Saints and say, hey, man, I know you guys are trying to free up some money, but you guys just go ahead and take Hunter Renfrow, man. We'll take Marshawn Lattimore, man. Come on. What's up? What's up? I know it's not going to happen, but why not? Eddie says Allen Robinson, another guy that has dealt with some bad quarterback play. Bad quarterback play. A guy that was on his way to being one of the top wide receivers in the league. He's just played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Chicago Bears, the Pittsburgh Steelers of the world. You know what I mean? So he's had some bad quarterback play. But at this point, I don't know who Allen Robinson is at this point, Eddie. I don't know if this is truly who he is now. You know what I mean? And he's getting up there in age also. Raven, I agree. He still is a great route runner. You guys are a run-heavy team. You're a run-heavy team. You know what I mean? And, you had a shit ton of receivers on that roster last year. So I know it's kind of difficult to distribute the football amongst all of them. So I get it. I think Hunter will go to the Saints. JJ, this is facts. Cool Breeze. What's up, King? Let me see what's going on. I'm getting a bunch of officially Raiders signed Harrison Bryant to a 1-year, $3.25 million deal. Hey, well, I'm just trying, man. I'm just trying to put my bid in, brother. Can I put my bid in? Can I put my bid in, man? I'm just trying to see if somebody would, take the bait. Can I at least just put my bid in, Walt? But you're right. No one's going to take that. And to be real with you, man, the Saints can do the same thing that they did with Derek Carr. Get Hunter Renfrow for nothing. Well, yeah, for nothing. I mean, they still paid Derek Carr a shit ton of money, but they can get him for nothing. Why trade anything when New Orleans is probably already the favorite to land Hunter Renfrow in free agency? Let me see. No, I agree, Sniper, but he was also like the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver over there. You know what I mean? They already had a shit ton of talent at the receiver position when they brought in Allen Robinson. Let me see. Brandon Parker is Raider herpes, Joseph. He's not going anywhere. Raider herpes. He knows something. He knows something. He got dirt. He got dirt on somebody. Let me see. Gio, I agree he's a game breaker. I agree. But also he has a problem securing the football. He had a lot of drops, Gio. A lot of drops. He's definitely a game breaker, but he has a lot of drops. That speed is terrifying, though. Let me see. Salute to everybody here in the building, man. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. Real quick, too, man. Salute to what Silver and Black Pride, right? Bill Williamson just put out an article as well. Salute to Bill. A few names out there he said to keep an eye on because there's some ties to what we got going on. A.J. Dillon. We already know Luke Getsy coached him for a few seasons out there in Green Bay. Big body running back. There are already a few teams out there looking at him, the Giants, the Colts, the Cowboys, according to Ian Rappaport. That'd be an interesting name. He'd probably come very inexpensive, be a cheaper option. Would be a great goal line threat for you, right? Big body running back. I mean, this dude's legs is like this each. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I would stay away from A.J. Dillon. I would just rather go get one in the draft. I don't think there's really any reason to pay a running back, in free agency. Like, is there really any reason to bring him in? You know what I mean? Like, is there any real reason for it? So I would stay away from the running back market. There's no real reason for it. Let me see. He also mentioned Robert Tonyan, another guy that has some ties to Getsy with Green Bay and in Chicago. Chicago just went and signed Gerald Everett, so it looks as though they'll probably move on for Robert Tonyan. Another option may be out there as well, but look what we just did. We just signed Harrison Bryant, so it looks as though there's no more need for any other tight end in free agency. Let me see. Salute to everybody here in the building. Clowney might sign with the Panthers. I can see that. They just moved on from Brian Burns. South Carolina connection. You know what I mean? He played in college out there. I could definitely see that. They'll give him a bag. Let me see. I would love it. Blake Corum is just so small, bro. Dude's 5'7". Harry's like 5. I think he's like 5'8" on his tippy toes. I love Blake Corum. One of my favorite running backs in this draft, but I would rather go with the likes of a Ray Davis or go get that Braylon Allen at 6'2", big body running back that could run through opposing defensive lines. You know what I'm saying? I like Blake Corum though. I just think that wherever he goes, it needs to be an actual, he needs to go somewhere that fits exactly what he's trying to do. I like Blake Corum, you know what I mean? But he's a very, very small football player. Let me see. Delano, I appreciate that, family. Thank you for the kind words, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, JJ, yeah. Jamal Adams definitely fell off. At this point, we already know what you're getting, right? He's a certified, blitz god. You know what I'm saying? If you bring him, at this point, he's pretty much a linebacker at this point. You know what I mean? He's a liability in coverage. You're not bringing in Jamal Adams to go out there and get you a ton of interceptions. This is a guy that you're going to put up there in the box and have him go after the quarterback. That's simply what you're getting with Jamal Adams at this point. So, and I don't even know if Jamal Adams is even in love with football anymore. So I would stay away from that completely. Salute to my guy, Rube. And once again, I already know what time it is. Yeah, man. And I know that Ray Davis isn't that bigger, than Blake Corum. But the thing is, he'll be available in another round or two later than Corum. So you're not taking, a running back that early. You know what I mean? But if these guys end up taking a running back early, it'd be insane if they went and got Trey Benson in the second round. That'd be absolutely crazy. No reason to pay for a running back in free agency, especially when there's a talent like the one and only George Halani. Rube, Halani to you is what Sincere McCormick is to me, brother. Salute to my guy, Rube. Hug says, Fields is a great athlete. His numbers haven't shown he's a proven QB. That's my take and not a reflection of OLV Raider Network. Salute to my brother, man. It's always great that we all have difference of opinions, man. That's what makes these shows so great. Let me get this weird ass dude out of here, man. You are gone. You are absolutely cooked. And he's not 5'8". He's like 5'9", 5'10", Ray Davis. Let me see. Salute to my brother LV Maximus in the building also. All right. I'm not the biggest Worthy fan either, but Nelson Aguilar had drops. He turned out okay. And you're right, Max. Some people figure it out. You're right. Some people figure it out. And, Nelson came to Vegas, played really well under Derek Carr, and actually did his thing out there in Baltimore as well. So you're right. You definitely are right. Let me see. God, he had to get smoked, man. He had to get popped, bro. We're not doing that. Boom, 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 boom. Brave, you're just not going to take a receiver that early. You know what I mean? I love McConkey's game, brother. The young guy out of Georgia, you guys, this dude is a baller. And he absolutely destroyed his pro day yesterday as well. And just like most of us thought he would. This guy is a first round, second round wide receiver. He'll be gone in the first two rounds. And I'm not a huge advocate for taking a wide receiver that early, especially when you got, two guys like Devontae Adams and Jacoby under contract for the foreseeable future. You know what I'm saying? So, there's no real reason for that. Let me see. Salute to my guy Mondo in the building that content. Let me see. You guys are going off of what Kendall Fuller did last year, Torque. They moved him into the nickel. You know what I mean? He played with a really bad defense out there. You know what I mean? They're young guy. They actually benched him. You know what I'm saying? My boy Emmanuel Forbes Jr. It was just a bad situation out there, man. I think that Kendall Fuller would play great under Patrick Graham. It seems like Patrick Graham always brings out the best players when they come to Vegas. So I'm not done with Kendall Fuller yet. Me personally, I would go another route. I like Xavier Howard. I would bring in Xavier Howard. You know what I'm saying? But Kendall Fuller is not ass by any stretch, by any means. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. There's no way. You can't call him that. He had a bad year last year on a bad defense. Let me see. Sir Dre, I wouldn't mind that either. My young pup out of Notre Dame, wouldn't hate that at all. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys. As always, we are on our way to 25,000. We cannot do that without you guys. And it looks as though we're on our way even more, man. Salute to you guys. We're booming, man. We are booming. Keon Coleman, DA, and Jacoby in the slot would be nasty. You guys know I have a bias for Keon Coleman. My brother, Paul, salute to Polly D, is his agent. I got an opportunity to meet Keon Coleman's family at the Combine. Got a chance to hang out with him for a split second. Very, very good people, man. But Keon Coleman is going to go in the first round. He'll be a first-round guy. Unless he drops just because of the 40, he'll be a second-round guy. He's not leaving that second round by any means. Keon Coleman is a first-round talent, and if somebody allows him to fall to the second because of his 40, you know what I'm saying, that'd be nasty, nasty work. You know what I mean? He is a dog. Don't let the production at Florida State fool you. Keon Coleman is a monster. Michigan State transfer, the guy cooked. Jordan Travis went down, and Keon Coleman still put up respectable numbers. The guy's a dog. He's a game changer. If we somehow, some way could find a way to end up with Keon Coleman, that would be insane. Now, if we traded, let's just say we traded back, right, and picked up an extra second-round pick, and let's just say Keon fell to the second round and we had two picks, I would not be against going to get Keon Coleman. Big receiver, 6'4". He could do it all. But that's just my biasness, you guys. That's just my biasness. Yo, Graphk, if we traded up to number 1 and got Caleb instead of Jaden, we could start the whole Lavender Williams trend. Salute to my guy, man. You know, it's funny, man. If we end up going up to the top of the draft, I think that they're still going to go after Jaden Daniels. You know what I mean? A lot of people are having concerns now with Caleb Williams, not doing his medicals, you know what I mean, not working out and all that other good stuff. I still believe that he'll probably end up being the best quarterback in this draft. But if we go up and somehow, some way, let's just say Chicago's not sold on him, I still believe that we go up and get Jaden Daniels. You know what I mean? Because this is a guy that all these – Jack Jones, you know, it's funny. Fingers told me yesterday when they were in the studio that he was like, man, he kept talking about this quarterback that he would want to come in, to play for y'all. And he was like, I just don't know who the dude is. I've never heard of him. And I was like, did he say Jaden Daniels? He was like, yes, Jaden Daniels. So, even think about that. Jack Jones is in a studio session doing music, and he's talking about Jaden Daniels, a former ASU guy. You know what I mean? So I think that it's the least best kept secret in the NFL that if we move up, we're going to go get our guy, Jaden Daniels. I was watching some tape on Fisk Kid. Early engagement and late release on stump plays is crazy. I could see him on our line. Yes, man. Yes. That's why yesterday, Graham, did you see that one, that new latest mock draft that I dropped? I thought, man, that I thought it was pretty good. Some people try and cook me for it. Most people said this was the best one of the mock drafts they've seen. But I think this would be great. At 13, you go get Fuaga, right? Right tackle out of Oregon State. You stay at 13. You remain there. You get your starting right tackle of the future. Don't just have to rely on Mumford to be the guy or Dalton Wagner. At 44, you get Braden Fisk, defensive tackle out of Florida State, if he drops to the second round. 77, you get Spencer Rattler, a guy that killed his pro day yesterday. And I'm telling y'all now, he's going to rise up boards. He'll probably not even be available in the third round. But he was available here, so I took him. Kyrie Jackson, you guys know how high I am on the big body corner out of Oregon. At 112, got Ray Davis at 148, the running back out of Kentucky, and then got Lemuel, I believe that's how you say his last name, the guard out of Utah at 208, Cornelius Johnson, a project at the wide receiver position out of Michigan at 223, and then I got my guy at 229, Omar Spites, big body, 6'2", 6'3", linebacker out of LSU, sideline to sideline guy. So that's my latest mock draft. And once free agency is up, you guys, I'm going to do my final mock draft once I see, where the needs are in terms of, what we got going on. Cowtown, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. And I made no trades. I just stayed where I was. Let me see. Adding Armstead, trading for Alexander would be that's probably one of the best defenses in the league. Jay, you add Eric Armstead to that defensive line and Jair Alexander to that DB room, him, Jack Jones, and Nate Hobbs. Oh my God, bro. Nasty. Lucky. No, we just signed Harrison Bryant, tight end from the Cleveland Browns. A guy that, hasn't had over 300 yards ever in a season. I believe he has 10 touchdowns. We just went over it. I think 10 touchdowns in his career. I think he's never had over 3 in a season. But hey, he's still young. I think he's like 25 years old, 26 years old. So you add another tight end to our room, and I believe it was only for like $3.2 million, somewhere around there, with the chance of going up to $4 million for a season. We signed to a 1-year deal. Yeah, come on. And we blew out the Milwaukee Bucks last night. We have owned the Lakers as of late. Come on. Light the beam, man. Light the beam, Pace. Yep. And John B., that's what you need, right? You want to beef up that O-line. You want to get some guys that can chip away on that right side. You add a guy like Harrison Bryant, he can block. It's all good. And think about it, man. Michael Mayer is getting better in the blocking game as well. He got better progressively as the year went on last year. So, we might have a nice little duo there that can get it done in the passing game and in the blocking game. Let me see. Burb, at this point, I don't know. I'm assuming that we approach the right side of our line in the draft, in this deep offensive line class. Let me see. Salute to Mateo, my guy. Graphk, we should take a running back at some point. There's YouTuber that will remain. There's a YouTuber that will remain nameless that is flaming us for letting JJ go. Too negative. I mean, look, it is what it is, bro. People have their own reasonings behind why, some people have fake outrage, Mateo. I don't know who you're talking about. So I'm just assuming that it's somebody that I probably don't, have a connection to. So at the end of the day, man, if you're upset about not paying a guy over $12 million at the running back position, I don't think you really know the game of football like that. You know what I mean? So we'll take a running back in the draft, Mateo, if we don't get one of these veterans in free agency. But I'm assuming it's a guy that pays for clicks and that pays for subscribers. I'm assuming that. Is my Wi-Fi okay, y'all? We good? All right, cool. All right, let me see. Salute to Jose. Graphk, shout out to Mark for bringing in Telesco, who is making moves with his head and not his heart. Talk that shit, my brother. Salute to my dog, Jose, on a $5 donation. I love it, man. Salute to my guy. Man. Definitely making some moves. Christian Wilkins was a phenomenal move in day one. Let me see. Graphk, do you think the Raiders wait a while on Fields so they can get him for a 6th or 7th round pick? I don't think you're going to get him for that. I think Chicago would hold on to him at that point and just have him battle it out with Caleb Williams. If they're only going to get a 6th or 7th round pick for him, you know what I mean? But I still believe it's going to be a mid-round pick if they decide on moving on from him. But there's a lot of noise right now, Rich, that they may keep him as QB1 and trade out of that first round, out of that first pick, unless they take Marvin Harrison Jr. Let me see. JJ, you got to understand something, brother. Coming from where I'm from, it's not beef on YouTube. It's not beef. We just have some fun with it. Beef is people coming to your doorstep, man. People is knocking at your door. Actually, beef is not knocking on your door. Beefing is kicking that motherfucker in. So it's not beef, man. We just have some fun on YouTube sometimes, man. That kid came, from over here, man. Like he's a kid that started over here, on my channel, man. So, we just have some fun with it, man. I don't hate the guy personally. We just have fun on YouTube. Don't take any of that stuff serious. It's not beef. Beef is when a motherfucker kicks your door down and has real, and that's where the real problems are. You know what I'm saying? It's not beef. I'll send you on IG. Salute to Mateo, my guy. Well, I can not disagree with you more than you want to go get Devin White? For what? You want to go overpay a linebacker in free agency? For what? I wouldn't like that move. And if it happens, I'm going to tell you guys I didn't like the move. So let me see. Yeah, I do not want to spend that kind of money on a linebacker. There's no reason to spend that kind of money on Devin White. Let's see. Gio, I mean, look, if it's on the cheap, great. But once again, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. Like, a lot of times we have 2 linebackers out there at a time. You know what I mean? And you already got Divine Diablo, who's been playing pretty well for us. And then you have Robert Spillane that's been playing great for us. So I just don't know why you would want to pay a guy like Devin White a shit ton of money when you still have other guys that – who was Amari Burney at this point? We just got him in the 6th round out of Florida. Like, can we develop him? Like, Luke Masterson has gotten progressively better. Like, there's no real reason to go out there and overpay for a linebacker when you can go get like 1 or 2 in this year's draft too. I don't want to pay big money, for a linebacker in free agency. And to be real, these guys really aren't getting paid that much money. Even Patrick Queen's contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers was modest. But I don't want to pay that kind of money. Let me see. Yeah, Jamal, he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better. And I'm not here to say that Luke Masterson is just a phenomenal talent. You know what I mean? But He's getting better. Yeah, and people tend to forget, hey, yo, we still got Darian Butler out there as well. Young kid from ASU that Antonio Pierce absolutely loves. Salute the Graphk in the building. You know, he was on the IR this past season. He's still under contract. Another guy that we still have that we can see and try to develop. Yeah, Redbone, like that's the problem. Why would you bring in a guy that can't cover? I think at this point, you guys in free agency, go get you a corner, a guy that could potentially be that corner one or high-end corner two. Okay. You potentially look at that right side of that O-line. If you don't want to overpay, you wait for the draft. I would just continue to beef up that D-line and go get a corner and wrap this shit up. There's no real reason to do anything else outside of looking at a guard, looking at a right tackle potentially, which I wanted. I would go get them in the draft. Get you a corner one or a high-end corner two, and just get you another defensive tackle and bring back Adam Butler. I'm okay if free agency ended with us getting another starting corner, another potential starting defensive tackle, and a rotational piece like an Adam Butler, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. We can go into the draft and approach that right side of that line. You know what I'm saying? In the draft. I'm not paying a linebacker at all in free agency, you guys. Me personally, I'm not doing it. Me. Not saying Tommy won't do it, but I won't do that. Just go get you a corner, continue to beef up that defensive line, and then boom, go get your quarterback and your offensive line in the draft, and then you go get your running back as well. Attack the offensive side of the football in the draft. Go get your running back. Go get your quarterback. Go get your right guard. Go get you a potential right tackle. Do that, and then in those later rounds, you can get a receiver, a linebacker, potentially maybe even another tight end to develop. But there's no real reason to go out there and spend for a linebacker in free agency. Why would you free up $20 million moving on from Jimmy G and Hunter Renfrow to bring in a Devin White? That's nasty. It's nasty. Harrison Bryant, Eduardo, 4-year vet, spent his whole career in Cleveland. Yeah, Lake Show, Kansas City's not even looking at us in terms of Snead. And they just freed up, I believe, like $20 million with Patrick Mahomes restructuring. So I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they end up holding on to him. Yeah, Wade, Devin White can't cover for shit. Xavier says Peyton Wilson, another guy to keep an eye on out of NC State. One of the best linebackers in this draft. If he could stay healthy, he may be the best linebacker in this draft. Let me see. Oh, yeah. And you can only get away with that, Primos, in Kansas City. I repeat, you can only get away with that kind of holding in Kansas City. Look at Juwan Taylor. Got held on every damn down this season. You can only get away with that type of tomfoolery in Kansas City. Oh, you know, I haven't forgot saying, I always talk about Dalton Wagner. Ryan says, any chance of getting who? What do you mean, Ryan? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Rich. Oh, yeah. But I think right now, though, the scary thing is, though, Rich, I think that the only way that the Commanders do not take Jaden Daniels is if Caleb Williams is available there at 1. That's it. I think Jaden Daniels is a sure thing going to the Commanders. I think that's already set in stone. I do. I believe that. You know what I mean? They went and signed, their backup. They brought in who? They brought in Marcus Mariota, right? Who's better to help, show a guy that who is one of his strengths in his game is using his legs than Marcus Mariota. I think that they're going with Jaden Daniels. So the only way that you can really, truly end up with him is if Chicago maybe trades that number 1 pick to the Commanders move up 1. Chicago picks up some extra draft capital, and then Chicago takes Marvin Harrison Jr. at 2, and the Commanders get who they want. Then at that point, New England has the option of taking Jaden Daniels or Drake May. You know what I mean? Or we can potentially call one of those teams and say, hey, man, we got a shit ton of draft capital for you to move up. And I don't know if you guys seen it. Keyshawn Johnson actually spoke on this yesterday as well. with him and Skip on their show, where he said that he thinks, and he has no inside, he said, I have no inside information, but he says, I think that, the Raiders are still going to go up and get their guy, Jaden Daniels. So there's still hope. Until the draft is here, there's still hope. Let me see. White is not that good anymore. Lucky, I'm gonna be real, bro. He's only 26 years old. I don't think he's ever really been that good. Personally. Salute the Rebel. Quinyon Mitchell looking better and better. Our Raiders still have big moves to come. Kendall Fuller has been my guy. Price going up. I feel that's the only one key piece we need on defense. Corner, go get him. Talk that shit, Rebel. And Quinyon Mitchell was a guy that I absolutely love out of Toledo. One of my favorite corners in this draft. He's definitely rising up a lot of people's draft boards. He's a first-round guy. First-round guy. Let me see. Raider 24. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that content. What about Alexander? I mean, what about him at this point, Lucky? All I said about him was if the Raiders are planning on making a major move for a superstar, it's probably going to be Jair Alexander. You know what I'm saying? I know that their GM just came out. It was a one-word answer, you guys. I don't know if you've seen the presser. They said, so what's the chances of you moving on from Jair Alexander? And all he said was no. So I don't know if that's just, to drive up, the price even more, or if they're really saying we're keeping Jair Alexander. But I know one thing. Last year, he definitely rubbed that organization the wrong way. They benched him a game. He dealt with some injuries, missed some games. I don't know if they're going to move on from him. But if they do, keep an eye on the Raiders. Very close with Devontae Adams. They start, what is it? What is the old saying? Sword sharpens sword, whatever the hell it is. They definitely sharpen each other's game. Let me see. Well, but why would you say that? Why would you say that? You do know this guy is a former UDFA himself, right? Antonio Pierce is a former UDFA himself. He knows that you can get a great linebacker, in the later rounds or potentially as a UDFA. Iron sharpens iron. There you go. But why would he want to do that? Why would he want to spend premium price on a linebacker when he can go identify one in the later rounds or potentially as a UDFA? This guy is a former UDFA. There's no reason to go out there and spend millions of dollars on a Devin White who has not performed. Bro, they brought back Levante David. He's like 98 years old over Devin White. Think about that. And I know they both don't play the same position, but they're both linebackers. They brought back a 98-year-old Levante David, and they let Devin White walk. Former first-round pick. Refused to pick up his fifth-year option, I believe, right? They didn't even pick up his fifth-year option, right? That's all I'm saying, man. Sword on sword. Hey, yo. Let me see. No, Bill Gates, no. I love the way he threw the football at the combine. I got an opportunity to watch him closely. Me and Stu while we were out there. I think the guy can throw the football with the best of them, but he's definitely underrated. Definitely underrated. But me personally, I'd rather go another route. But we did have some people out there at his pro day yesterday. We had some scouts out there. Our head coach wasn't out there, but we had some guys representing Raiders out there yesterday. Let me see. Sword fighting. He said no on Jair Alexander. He's a head case. Well, I mean, Jack Jones was considered a head case, right, Kev? He was considered a head case. He came in and played really well for us in year one. You know what I mean? Antonio Pierce definitely, holds his guys accountable. But what's the problem? I mean, I don't consider him a head case at all. There's a few players that we brought in that are considered head cases. I think Antonio Pierce, will keep these guys humble, keep these guys honest. I'm taking Jair Alexander, a top 3 corner, all day, every day if he's available. And we already have that connection with Green Bay. You know what I mean? We've traded for Devontae in the past. You know, they just went and got Josh Jacobs. They took Rich Bisaccia and signed him as their special teams guy. The Charles Woodson connection, Raiders to Green Bay, back to being a Raider. Keyshawn Nixon. I mean, shit. I mean, it's just endless. We can keep this thing going. There's definitely a connection to Green Bay. Eddie, it sounds as though New England is interested in bringing back J.C. Jackson. They just didn't want him at that price tag. But it looks as though there's mutual interest. He may remain out there in Boston with the Patriots. Heat check. It just depends on what Green Bay is thinking, brother. It's up to Green Bay if they want to move on from that contract. It's a major price tag for a corner that's, you know, that was beat up a little bit last year. Forte says, my brother checked the super chat. I had a question. Oh, my bad, brother. I didn't even see it. You already know, man. We got almost 3,000 in the building between Twitter and YouTube, brother. So it's difficult for me to see everything, man. There we go. Boom. Graphk, are we getting any more draft picks? No. Compensation for players here will be lost. No. Your channel is the shit. Keep that content coming. So don't quote me on this, Forte, but we didn't get any comp picks this season. We got not one. Now, next year, we were assuming that we may get one for Josh Jacobs, right? Because we were thinking maybe we get a 3rd-round pick for him because he walked in free agency. But we picked up Christian Wilkins, so that affects the way you bring in comp picks. So I don't think that we get one for Josh Jacobs next year. So at this point, I don't know if we get one for Jermaine Illuminor. At this point, I don't know. Maybe we get one for Jermaine. He walked in free agency, went to the Giants. I don't know if we get one for Meek. We'll probably end up getting some later round compensation next season. But not this year. We got none this year. Salute to my guy, S. Dot. And LT, I got you, brother. My apologies. Hey, Graphk, if Spillane goes down, which linebacker do you think can take a runner down like Derrick Henry? It looks to me like the rest will all get mushed in the mouth. This is facts. I don't know if we have one on our roster right now that can do that. You know what I mean? That's why you have to go get one in the draft, S. Dot. You know what I mean? Like, real talk, you're going to have to go get you one of those smash mouth linebackers that can do that just in case Spillane goes down. And we know what happened with his hand last year. He played through it. He broke like 3 or 4 bones in his damn hand. But, yeah, that's something to keep an eye on right there. Definitely, because Devon Diablo is not the guy to get it done. You know, Luke Masterson, you know, is considered a thumper, but he's not the Spillane type. Yeah, I don't know if we have that guy on our roster. That's a smart comment right there. I think we'll get one in the later rounds in the draft, or potentially get one as a UDFA as well. And we may still get a linebacker in free agency, but just one that's kind of going under the radar, not the likes of a Devin White. Salute to LT. Graphk, if anything, we should trade our negative fans. Talk that shit, LT. My brother, man. Salute to James. Get a beast offensive lineman in the draft. Build them trenches. And James, that's why I got Fuaga out of Oregon State in the first round at 13. If we stay there and we don't get our quarterback there, I got us going to get a right tackle. Keep an eye on Guyton also, the young kid out of Oklahoma, I believe. I know that our guy, James Craig, was out there at the Senior Bowl working with Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. So that's something to keep an eye on as well if we potentially grab a right tackle in the first round. Dane Dollar, would you trade a 5th for Hal? I don't think you really need to, Dane, because at this point, I think you actually got a guy that kind of plays the same game as him. Gardner Minshew, you paid him nice money. There's no real reason to trade a 5th for Hal. You got Aiden O'Connell, right, in year 2 on a rookie deal. You know, I know Hal is still on a rookie deal as well, but no, there's no real reason for that. You got Gardner Minshew, you got Aiden, and we're gonna go get one. There's no real reason to trade any draft capital for Sam Howell. I think that there's a specific type, quarterback that they're looking for to bring in to fight for that starting spot. I don't think that it's Sam Howell. But salute to Sam Howell, man. He was put in a bad situation out there with the Commanders last year where he had to throw the football a lot. I like Sam Howell. I do, but I don't think that we need someone like a Sam Howell at this point. Salute to JM. Thoughts on trading up to 6 to 9 for JJ? I mean, it's a very realistic option at this point. To be real with you, JM, it's a very realistic option. I mean, there's a lot of talk about JJ McCarthy. A lot of teams are falling in love with the idea of bringing in J.J. McCarthy. I think that is Denver's hopes and prayers that he falls to them. I think that the Minnesota Vikings are salivating at the opportunity to bring in a J.J. McCarthy. I'm going to say this. Keep an eye on those two teams to potentially move up to go get him. But I don't think we go up to that 6 to 9 range to go get a JJ, me personally. Mike Williams, you guys, officially released. Officially released. So there you have it. That frees up a shit ton of money out there for the Chargers. They're still in salary cap hell, but that frees up a shit ton of money for them. Sources, the Chargers releasing Mike Williams, making him a free agent. Williams on the books for a $32 million cap hit, becomes a top free agent wide receiver available, according to Ian Rappaport. There you have it. So Mike Williams is now available. And other than that, you guys, we did bring in Harrison Bryant. We did sign our tight end to a really good blocker. And an underrated guy in the passing game as well. Yeah, they owed him $32 million, bro. Holy shit. Joe Alt will be gone by the time we draft. He'll be potentially a top 5, top 7 pick. I think he's the first tackle off the board, Los. Joe Alt is that good. He'll probably be, if the Giants don't go quarterback and they keep Daniel Jones, they may get Joe Alt. You keep an eye on the Chargers, they may get Joe Alt. Yeah. Mike Williams should go to the Panthers or the Falcons. I think the Panthers are really trying to see if Cincinnati's really going to part ways with T. Higgins. I think that they're going to keep an eye on T. Higgins. Carolina needs a real wide receiver 1. You know what I mean? And Mike Williams has technically been a wide receiver 2 up to this point in his career. Let me see. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. He checked. I did not see your super, brother. Let me look around for it. Oh, is Jair? I didn't ask him. And to be honest with you, I love you guys, but if Hondo told me behind closed doors that it was Jair, I wouldn't put that out there because that's none of my business. You know what I'm saying? But I personally think that is the guy that he's hinting at. I never reached out to Hondo. I didn't ask him. I know he would tell me, off the record, but I haven't reached out to him yet. But I'm assuming it might be him or Brandon Ayuk. I guarantee you it's probably one of those two guys. It's either Brandon Ayuk because of the connection there, with AP, or it's Jair Alexander. The connection is also there with Devontae Adams, in their time in Green Bay. So I'm assuming it's one of those two guys. Let me see. I can see that, Girth. I can definitely see that. They need another guy. They just moved Deontay Johnson over to Carolina. Maybe Carolina utilizes him as the number 1 guy. Who's to say? Maybe he ends up being their wide receiver 1 out there with Adam Thielen and a bunch of other young guys that they have over there. Maybe you could be right. But I think Mike Williams can definitely come in and be that wide receiver 2 to George Pickens. That makes all the sense in the world. Let me see. Great comment, Garth. Pause on your name too. I gotta pause your name every time I see it, bro. I love Bucky Irving, bro. I love him. He can get it done in the passing game. He can get it done in the run game. I love Bucky Irving. I think he's a 3rd round guy that'll be off the board. I just don't know if we attack the running back position that early. I think this may be a year, you guys, where we do the same thing we did with Zeus. We go look at that running back position in that 4th round, 5th round area, where potentially a Ray Davis can be available, or a George Halani. Maybe even a Braylon Allen falls. Let me see. Oh man, Derek. That's it. It's Khalil Mack. You know what I'm saying? But the money has to be there. I don't want Chase Young at all. The effort's just not there. When he wants to play football at a high level, he plays football at a high level. But when he doesn't, he looks like shit. The Niners just let him walk, you guys. They traded a 3rd round pick for Chase Young and just let him walk. Think about that. A former rookie of the year, former Ohio State dog. They let him walk for free. They traded a 3rd round pick for him and just let him go. Stewart, Austin Hooper signed with the Patriots yesterday. I'm waiting. If the Chargers cut Khalil Mack, that would be insane because they still owe him a shit ton of money. Come to Vegas, man. Come right up the street. I would love it. He says corner 1 is more important than potentially wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3. Well, I mean, Primos, technically you already have wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 on the roster. So, I mean, you're right for sure about the cornerback 1 spot, but you got Jacoby and you got Trey Tucker. Who's to say Tucker's not ready to take that next leap this year? Let me see. I still got like 10 Khalil Mack jerseys in the closet ready to just knock the dust off them shits. Okay, you said that's what I'm saying. Okay, got you. In free agency, I agree with you, JM. I think that cornerback 1 is the most important right now in free agency. And then in the draft is to go find your quarterback and your right tackle. Because once again, you guys, we could really truly run it back with a spotty starter at right guard. We did it last year with Greg Van Roten, and our O-line played pretty well. The year 2, they played pretty well. Or the year prior, they played pretty well with Alex Bars at right guard. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, technically, if you can just identify that right tackle in this upcoming draft and find your quarterback, we may be on to something. And finding a quarterback is not that easy. But I think that they really believe in Mumford. I think they really love Mumford. And they may allow him to be that guy at right tackle moving forward. And at that point, then just go find your guard of the future. Oh, I'm not a fan of him at all, James. I do not like that kid at all. At all. I'm not a fan of Hours, however you say his name. Not a fan of him at all. Watched him very closely out here. You know, I'm in the Dallas area. You know, he's playing out there in Austin at Texas. Not a fan of him at all. I'm not. Sarah says, YouTube keeps randomly unsubscribing me from your channel. Love your content. Love that I get to support a hometown content creator. Salute to you, Sarah. Thank you, family. I don't know why they would do that. Quinn Ewers. Ew. Yep, Graw, that's my guy. That is my guy. Cooper BB. Kansas State University. Cooper Beebe's my guy. That is definitely a guy to keep an eye on in this year's draft. One of my favorite guards. Let me see. I would love to have Latu, but would rather have Fuaga. I mean, you know, Fuaga, he fits a need. I mean, Latu would be a great pickup, but technically he's another edge rusher. And if Malcolm Kuntz continues to take that next step this upcoming season, you don't even need a Latu. And then technically, LT, also, you're going to be using Tyree Wilson on the edge as well. And I said this earlier on the show. You know what I mean? When it's, you know, on running downs, keep Tyree on the edge. You know what I mean? He's not that guy at the defensive tackle position to really play the run yet. You know what I'm saying? So he's still going to be playing on the edge on non-passing downs. So technically, you don't really need to go get an edge rusher that early on. You know what I mean? If Malcolm Kuntz continues to go this way, man. You saw what Hunter posted? Matt, I didn't. Let me see. Let me look it up. Hunter Renfrow. All right, let's see what the kids said. Raider Nation, thank you for welcoming me and my family in the last 5 years. From Oakland to Las Vegas, it felt like home. I wouldn't be the person I am today without my teammates and my coaches inspiring me every single day. 5 years went by quick. Once a Raider, always a Raider. And it's funny, you guys, he actually tagged Darren Waller and he tagged Derek Carr on the post. I know them three are together in the picture, but interesting. He actually tagged Darren Waller and Derek Carr in the picture. So there you have it. No, Prophet, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. Kuntz is a clear-cut pass rusher. You don't want to have to drop him in the coverage, nothing like that. You want to keep him, brother. Keep him on the outside because he's still, even now, he's still trying to figure it out. He's getting better setting the edge and playing the run, But nah, you don't want to drop Kuntz out to outside linebacker. No way. Push Tyree to DE and bring in DJ Reader. And I think DJ Reader is going to get a big bag elsewhere. Profit. I think that he's meeting with the Lions. The Lions may cash him out. They can use that presence in the middle of their defensive line. Let me see. He said Darren Wilder and Renfrow to the Saints confirmed. I think Renfrow's going regardless, but the Giants, look, Wilder's either going to retire or be a Giant, period. Unless he says, you can have all your money back, just cut me. Then maybe he want to go home, to Vegas. I think Vegas is the only place that Darren Wilder wants to play because of his wife. Her being the only one, him all the way to cross country, his wife in Vegas. I can only imagine how tough that is. But Darren Wilder won't be a Raider. AJ, I agree. Bring him back. Salute to Fox. Graphk, what are we doing with Sincere, man? I'm waiting, bro. I've not heard anything about Sincere McCormick at all. It's I'm waiting for the young kid to get an opportunity. I'm watching him very closely, in preseason this upcoming season. I want to see what he does. Lamar, love his game. He's a dog. Love him. I just don't think there will be anywhere near where he's going to go in the draft next season. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near to be able to draft him. But love his game, man. Love his game. Let me see. I do. I think that he'll fall to the second because there's so many, the tackles, right? They're going to go off the board in the first round. So many of those guys are going to be gone. Potentially Powers out of Oregon, maybe the center. He may be gone in the first round. Then you're going to have a run on receivers, Rebel, right? You're going to have the neighbors and, in the Marvin Harrison Juniors of the world, the Keon Coleman's of the world. Then you're going to have a run on quarterbacks. Then there's a run on corners potentially, Terrion Arnold, Quinyon Mitchell. So, yes, I do believe that Cooper will fall to the second round. Definitely. That's another reason why I feel like Fisk may be available in the second round. Shit, Johnny Newton, Jazir Newton, however you say his first name, he may be available out of Illinois in the second round. There's going to be a run on specific positions. We see this year in and year out. So the corners are going to be gone. The quarterback's going to be gone. The tackles are going to be gone. Shit, we didn't even talk about the pass rushers. Shit, the Dallas Turners of the world, the Latus. There's going to be a run on specific positions, and I think that a lot of those guards are going to end up falling to that second and third round. You never know. Cooper may be available in the third round because there may be a slight run on running backs in round two, you guys, the Trey Bensons of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like the Jonathan Brooks of the world. You never know. And then some of those defensive tackles may go. There may be a run on them. The Jazir Newtons, those type of guys if he falls. Let me see. Yeah, Tim, it's crazy, right? The last Oakland Raider left. It's only right that he is the one to be left too. I agree, AJ. I agree wholeheartedly, brother. I do believe he's the best guard in this draft. There's a shit ton of other guys that's available too, though. That's not too far off from Cooper Beebe. Let me see if there's anything else going on, you guys, real quick. It's been kind of slow. I know a lot of stuff is going to start dropping, you guys, a little later at 4 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to start seeing a lot more moves. Okay, we talked about that. Let me see what Ian Rappaport got going on. Yeah, boom. All right. But a lot of positions have not been addressed yet, you guys, in free agency. There hasn't been a run on wide receivers yet. The wide receivers are kind of kicking back. They're trying to see where that market is, right? The linebackers finally started to go. The quarterbacks are pretty much, they're kind of getting off the board now. But the wide receiver position and the corner position, two premier positions that have not been addressed really yet in free agency. The Kendall Fullers of the world, the Xavier Howards of the world. They're still top talent there at the corner spot and at the wide receiver position. So Colton Miller as well, you guys. Yes, Colton Miller is another former Oakland Raider. You're right, Sean. Salute to you. After. Salute the 10 Commandments. Have we completely given up? No, not at all. Oh, at guard, where he was an All-American at Ohio State. We may already have our starting guard on this roster. Well, what if? But we don't know if their plan is to put him at right tackle yet, though. 10 Commandments, but you may be onto something, brother. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they do keep him. I don't know. We shall see. That's a great comment. Salute the 10 Commandments. People tend to forget that, you know, Mumford can play all across the O-line. Left tackle, right tackle, guard. Let me see. You may be on to something with that too, AD. AJ Cole and Carlson. There's only a few guys left from the Oakland era, regardless. The only real ones that are left from Oakland outside of Max and a few players is all of us. What's up, Docs? You think a big trade is coming? Why else would have they cut in Renfrow and Garoppolo before June 1st? Well, you can technically, EBK, you can designate them as June 1st cuts and shit like that. So you don't have to cut them today and take the hit. You can still designate. What is it, you guys? I believe it's like 1 or 2 contracts you can do that with, or is it 1? I forgot, but you can designate cuts as post June 1st. So there's 4 left. LV, okay, got you. 4 left. Colton Miller, Max. Was Andre James there the last year in Oakland too? And Carlson and Cole? 2, Adam. Yep. So there you go. So there you have it. So you can designate them as post-June cuts, young bull. And to be honest, I don't think that those cuts have anything to do with the big trade. It's just freeing up cap space. Both of them have no space on this roster anyway. You know, we're moving on from Renfrow for all the right reasons. We're moving on from Garoppolo for all the right reasons. So, you know, salute to EBK, man. Salute to James also. 2 post-June 1st cuts. Yep. Graphk, you think Penix Jr. is still an option? Or are we waiting until next year for our quarterback? Oh, he's definitely an option. He's definitely an option, James. And that's one of my favorite options at the quarterback position if you don't trade up. You stand pat at 13, I'm not mad at all if we take Michael Penix Jr., who is probably the best pure passer in this draft. If you can protect him, keep him healthy, go find you a great right tackle, you know what I mean, that can, you know, keep his blind spot safe. I'm all for Michael Penix Jr. Salute to Edgar also. Could you imagine that, you guys, though, moving Mumford to guard and Dalton Wagner ends up winning the right tackle position? Then you can go in all kind of different ways in the draft. Like if they really believe in Dalton Wagner, which, you know, I don't know what they feel about him at this point, but that would be insane if you can just go a whole nother route. We're still going to address the O-line in this draft anyway, though. Yeah, and you can spread it over 2 years. Lee, facts. Salute to Edgar. Minshew was the last quarterback to win in Oakland. Don't sleep on the mustache. Don't remind us about that, Edgar. Come on, man. Come on, brother. I remember that Jacksonville game. I remember Derek Carr getting drinks and shit thrown on him as he ran into the tunnel. Don't bring up that type of shit. That was a nightmare, Edgar. The mustache. I believe Yannick was on that team. Nasty work, man. And we should have won that damn game, too. I was out there for that game. That was nasty, nasty work. Nasty work. Lewis, as long as the price tag is there, brother, I would definitely go take a flyer on Dalton. Let me see. He said DC got a glizzy to the face on the way to the tunnel. Hey, yo. You ain't never lied, bro. That's fucking hilarious. That is hilarious, bro. Always fire, Hug. Always. Yes, Joe. Renfrow is officially cut. We will officially be moving on from him. His free agency opens up at 4 p.m. Eastern. Salute to my brother Miguel in the building. My dog, my brother. Salute, King. Eric, man, it's been quiet on the Jordan Travis front. You know, he took that injury last season out there at Florida State. I haven't really heard too much about him. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of talent there. You know what I mean? But I've not heard a lot about him. I'm assuming he'll be a late round pick because of the injury. Owen says, I'm telling you, Mike Williams, bro, we need a 50-50 Tom Telesco is going to go get him. Mark my words. Even with all those injuries, Owen, then what are you doing? Are you just kicking Jacoby into the slot? That's so much money allocated to the wide receiver room, bro. Like, could you imagine? You have to pay Mike Williams a shit ton of money. You got Devontae Adams that can go up and get the ball, and you have Jacoby another. Like, there's no need for that. There's no need for that. I wouldn't want to pay Mike Williams at all. And I think that one of these other wide receiver needy teams are definitely going to pay a max price for a Mike Williams. Like we said, keep an eye on Carolina. I know they just traded for Deontay Johnson, but they may want another one. You know what I mean? Keep an eye on some of these other teams. Shit. Hey, keep an eye on the Dallas Cowboys. They have not made really any moves yet. They lost their running back, Tony Pollard. They're trying to trade Michael Gallup. Keep an eye on them. Maybe they bring him in. I don't know. Buffalo Bills can use another receiver. They moved on from Gabe. They just signed Mack too. They just signed Mack Hollins. They just signed Mack Hollins, in which he'll probably end up being like their wide receiver 3. To be real, he's not going to come in and replace Gabe by any stretch, but they may look at him too. Yo, G, your thoughts on this? I believe we get depth at O-line, D-line, and corner today. But what are the low-end options for us? Then maybe a big name positions. So, I mean, I'm looking at like this. The corner positions you're looking at, we talked about Darnay from the Giants, 25-year-old young corner that has ties to Antonio Pierce. You can look at him. He'll be an inexpensive option to bring in at the cornerback position. Line, we're probably looking at a Dalton Reisner. We talked about him during the show. You could potentially bring him in for the right price tag to be your guard. He's the starting guard for you of the future there. And then defensive line, you're still looking at, there's a lot of guys out there still available. I don't know if Reader signs with Detroit. I think it's going to be them or Cincinnati, to be honest. He might return back home, but Eric Armstead's available. You know what I'm saying? There's still some interesting edge rushers out there. Like, I mean, who's against bringing in a Carl Lawson, you guys? Like, Carl Lawson would be probably cheap. You know what I mean? He didn't perform well last season at all. He kind of fell out of the rotation, out of favor with the Jets. But the year prior, he had like 7-8 sacks. And he's a physical specimen. You bring him in, it'd be a nice little rotation of him, Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree on the edge. That'd be nice. So keep an eye on, some of those names. Kendall Fuller. Keep an eye on, maybe a Carl Lawson and a Dalton Reisner. Punchy. I hit up Eric. Eric has not responded to me. I hit up the group chat. I got a group chat with me, him, and my pops, and he hasn't responded. So let's just know they out there working. They're out there working. You know what I'm saying? So I know he's busy right now, but I'm hearing the Tennessee Titans are interested in bringing him in as well to pair him up with Jeffrey Simmons. So that's something to keep an eye on. But I've not heard anything about the Raiders. Not heard about anything about any other team outside of the Tennessee Titans being interested at this point. But other teams will pop out the woodworks. And to be honest with you, when free agency officially opens up, there may be some teams on the low that we never even heard be tied to him, and he's just gone off the market immediately. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. Salute to a Seattle Raiders fan. My guy has been around forever. A sneaky name to keep an eye on in the draft. Running back Dylan Johnson. We can get him late too. I'm thinking draft Penix, then trade up in the first to get Fatanu, and then draft the athletic and move the athletic man to right tackle or right guard. Salute to my guy, man. He always putting his bid in for his Huskies. I love it. I love it. I love it. Salute to my guy, Seattle Raiders fan. Salute to GA, my dog, on a $5 donation. Cleve's playing for $3 million a year. The Raiders sure have wasted on some first round picks. Facts, man. We don't even want to go over the list of those guys again, bro. It's nasty, nasty. Arnett out the league. Henry Ruggs out the league. Jonathan Abram, he's probably gonna be out the league this upcoming season. He'll probably be in the UFL or some shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Nasty work. Salute to GA, my guy, and salute to Teo. Who's your early guess? First opponent this year, Kansas City Chiefs, Thursday night football, first game of the year, Arrowhead. Raiders Chiefs, Thursday night football. Run that shit back. Run that shit back. Let me see. Salute to my guy, Russ. What's going on with Chandler Jones money? Is it possible for us to touch that money this year or next? I'll tell you right now, not this year, Rube, for sure. I don't know what they're trying to do behind the scenes, trying to see if, detrimental to the team. And I don't know what fits that narrative or whatnot, but you're not getting anything this year. Now, maybe they find out a way to release some of that money, next season. It's not going to happen this year, Rube. It's not going to happen this year. But there's really been no updates in terms of how we have to handle Chandler Jones's money moving forward. I mean, I don't know what else to say that why you wouldn't be able to get out of that contract with the shit that he did on social media. You know what I mean? Like there should be no way in hell we shouldn't be able to escape that money somehow, some way. But up to this point, we haven't found a way to do it. Let me see. I love that you guys are mentioning a lot of late round names that not a lot of people are talking about. I love that, man. I love being able to come on here and talk about the draft. And you guys even mentioned a few names that I've totally forgot about or I have not even done my homework on yet. I love that. Salute to the chat, man. The greatest chat in YouTube history, man. Coming in hot with that content. Salute to my guy, Big Red, man. Let me see. But it's been slow, you guys. It really has been slow at this point. Not really too much noise since Monday. You know what I mean? Big splash with Christian Wilkins. The splash move, bringing in our backup quarterback in Gardner Minshew. Really hasn't done anything today. Expect Tillery to be finally off the books. Expect Hunter Renfrow to finally be off the books. Jimmy G as well. Some potential names to keep an eye on if we want to move on from. Potentially Brandon Faison. We may move on from him. Release a few $1 million also. There's going to be some more names off of the books here soon. We'll free up some more money. And then I know we'll be in play for, some nice names moving forward. I said it before, keep an eye on Kendall Fuller. Also, I don't think that we attacked the running back position in free agency. I truly don't. I think it was either Josh Jacobs or bust, and we missed out on that. He went to Green Bay and took that deal. So I think we attacked the running back position in the draft. We already brought Amir Abdullah back. He can be a third down back if need be and also play special teams. So I'm assuming that, even with Sincere McCormick still on the roster, with, Britton Brown still on the roster, I think we just go young at the running back position. Also, we did sign Harrison Bryant today. So he'll be our backup tight end. Young kid, 25 years old, 26 years old, somewhere along that range. Played his whole career with the Cleveland Browns. He's a really good blocker. Doesn't really give you too much in the passing game. But we shall see what he's going to look like in terms of tight end 2. And you guys, real quick also, I'm seeing breaking news. Khalil Mack has restructured his deal. He will remain a Charger. So there you have it. The dreams of bringing in Khalil Mack back to the Raiders are officially dead. Khalil Mack will not be a Raider. So there you have it. It looks like he restructured his deal. Trying to see what this looks like. Let me see. Salute to everybody here in the building, man. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to see where the hell. 8-time Pro Bowl D-end, former Defensive Player of the Year. Khalil Mack will remain a Los Angeles Charger this season and free up salary cap space for the team by agreeing to restructure his deal per sources. Mike Williams leaves, Mack stays. So there you have it. So he's not going anywhere. He will remain a Charger. So the hopes of him becoming home is not going to happen. And didn't think it was going to happen anyway. AD, Kalen King is someone I want on this team. He's real nice cornerback from Penn State. I've done my homework on Kalen King. Possibly day 3 pick. A lot of praise from Sauce also. Facts. I think Kalen King's going to be off the board in day 2, AD. I do. I think he'll be off the board in day 2. I don't think he's going to make it to day 3. Kalen King's a dog. But you're right. That's another name, another sneaky name to keep an eye on. Factory. Always like those guys out of Penn State, man. They always put together nice defenses out there. Let me see. Because we have a defensive-minded head coach, Tort, for the first time in forever. I think that's why, right? This is no longer the John Gruden and Josh McDaniels led teams, bro. Like they're going to value defensive line over the wide receiver position. And another thing is we already have receivers intact. So there's no real reason to go pay another one. Like for what? Like we have not been able to get it done with all the money allocated to the offense in recent memory. Like why go pay another wide receiver? Defensive line, you win games, you win Super Bowls in the trenches. So that's why you value the defensive line more than the wide receiver position. We already have Devontae under contract. We already have Jacoby under contract, Trey Tucker. You build those trenches. That's the way you win football games. I'm not spending – we're already spending a shit ton of money at the wide receiver position. You know what I mean? Yeah, Black Sunday he was. And we went 12-4 one season with him there. And to be real with you, that defense wasn't great at all. I mean, it wasn't great by any stretch. Khalil Mack was there, Bruce Irvin, Reggie Nelson and those guys. They played pretty well for us, but that wasn't a great defense by any means, though. The offense really held that team together. DC had to come back and win a lot of comeback games. That Tampa Bay game, I mean, there's a list of them that year. I like that. DeMarcus talked that shit. Everybody knows how I felt about Malcolm Kuntz coming out of Buffalo. Nobody, I didn't even know anybody who knew who the hell Malcolm Kuntz was outside of me and, like the Mick Shays and shit of the world. Hey, man, talk that talk, DeMarcus. Syria just says, to be fair, Harrison Bryant had over 1K yards receiving in his last year in college. Collegiate level is a lot different. You know that than the NFL. There's no news, Jers, yet on Justin Fields, brother. There's so many conflicting reports right now. You know what I mean? But there has been ties to the Raiders. We're one of the only teams left in the NFL that technically doesn't have a starting quarterback right now. So you're going to still hear noise about Justin Fields until there's something there. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me see. We'll hear something here soon, but there's so many conflicting reports about Chicago maybe running it back with Justin Fields. AD says, that's how I found Graphk, was him flipping out over Klee and then praising Kuntz. Facts, brother. Facts. I did not like the Klee pick at all, but I definitely love grabbing Malcolm Kuntz in the 3rd round. And I had us taking him in the 6th round in that draft. So I thought that they reached a little bit, but hey, him and Divine Diablo back-to-back, can't hate that. Let me see. If we get Justin, do we still draft a quarterback? Khalil, I don't think you do. Because you have a guy under contract for 2 years. You have him on his last year, and I think he's only getting paid, I think it's $2 million this year. I think he's like $6 million against the Chicago Bears cap, right? And then you have Aiden O'Connell, who's still on a rookie deal, who's already started, and then you got Gardner Minshew. There would be no reason if you got Justin to have to go get a quarterback. You know what I mean? And then you got Anthony Brown, I believe, on the practice squad. So it'd be no reason to go get a quarterback. Let me see. Cloned, I would be. I think that's a guy that starts for you in a pinch if your starter goes down. If we end up starting Gardner Minshew, then I have to question the direction of this offense. I do. I don't think that Devontae would like that. I don't think that, I think Devontae would probably be the only one, really truly upset about having to have Gardner Minshew as a starting quarterback. Could you imagine going from Aaron Rodgers to Jimmy Garoppolo to Aiden O'Connell to Gardner Minshew? God damn, bro. I know he'd be upset like a motherfucker. Yeah. But I think it's like a $6 million cap hit or cap hit against the Chicago Bears. I could be wrong about that, Maul, but yes, he's only getting paid like 2.6, but I believe it's a cap hit of 6 with them. Let me see. I agree. Trey Tucker's season's about to be a movie. Facts. Let me see. Bro, he would be sick. Factory. But yeah, you guys, coming up on 2 hours, man. I always hate to leave when I got about almost 3,000 people in the building between Twitter and YouTube. We will be back, you guys, when some news starts to break. Thus far, our Raiders have made the splash move, Christian Wilkins at defensive tackle. We signed our backup quarterback to a 2-year deal with Gardner Minshew. We signed Harrison Bryant today, our backup tight end. We allowed Meek to walk, Josh Jacobs to walk, Jermaine Illuminor to walk, Austin Hooper to walk. You know what I mean? So we're allowing a lot of these guys that are free agents to go elsewhere, and I'm cool with that. But 4 p.m. Eastern, you guys, in another couple hours. It's only 1:30 Central Time, so another hour and a half. We're going to start seeing a lot of these chips start to fall. So stay tuned. I will be putting together another live once it opens up. Once free agency completely opens up at 4 p.m. Eastern, I will jump back on live and we will shoot the shit and talk about what the hell is going to happen. And East Coast Gridiron, I heard something to that effect. I've seen a few rumblings of them potentially Fields to Philly being the backup to Jalen Hurts. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. But yeah, that would be interesting actually. But we shall see. But other than that, you guys, as always, man, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We will be back shortly. One.
What I'm talking about.